Hello there, I am Ashok. In this video, we are going to discuss part 2 of the topic clocks. So, in this video, we are going to cover second, third, and fourth models. If you haven't watched part 1, okay, I will give the link in the description. Please go through it once. Let's get started. So, he is going to give you the angle, and you need to find out the time where that angle occurs. For example, in our case, we need to find out at what time between 3 o'clock and 4 o'clock the hands are going to make an angle of 180 degrees like this. So most of the people will say answer is 3:45, but it's wrong. The reason being, in this 45 minutes, the our hand is going to be somewhere here, that is in between 3 and 4. So if you want to make an angle of 180, the minute hand has to be in between 9 and 10, but not exactly on 9. We are going to find out that particular time. Okay. So see how you are going to solve these kind of models. So before solving, I will give a little bit of explanation what is happening there. See guys, think like this. Let us assume the time is 3 o'clock. After 1 hour, the time is going to be 4 o'clock. After 1 more hour, it's going to be 5 o'clock. Okay, like this. So after 1 hour, it's going to be 4 o'clock. After 1 more hour, it's going to be 5 o'clock. If you observe here, there is 15 minutes gap between minute hand and hour hand. If you observe here, there is 20 minutes gap in between minute hand and hour hand. If you observe here, there is 25 minutes gap in between minute hand and hour hand. So for every 1 hour, the gap is going to increase by 5 minutes. So guys, I'm talking with respect to hour hand point of view. If you observe here, so minute hand is starting from this point and coming back to the same point. That means minute hand moved by 60 minutes. But you try to think from our hand's point of view. See, if you see from our hand point of view, this is actually 15 minutes behind. Now it is 20 minutes behind. That is now 25 minutes behind. That means after every 1 hour, our hand is going to move 5 minutes ahead, or you can also say minute hand is 5 minutes lagging the our hand. So for every 60 minutes movement of minute hand with respect to our hand, it is going to cover only 55 minutes. That means think like this. If it is covering 60 out of 60, the gap has to be always same. Okay, but because of the our hand is moving ahead, we are saying that with respect to our hand, minute hand is able to cover only 55 minutes of the gap. That's why for every 60 minutes with respect to our hand, it can cover only 55 minutes. Now, after 1 more hour, the gap is going to increase by 5 more minutes. That means after every 60-minute movement of minute hand, it is going to cover only 55 minutes with respect to our hand. Okay, guys, remember this point. This we are going to use a lot. Okay, I will give a simple example. Okay, see, let us take the time is 12 o'clock. After how much time do you think the hands of a clock are going to coincide? Most of the people will say it is only 60 minutes. No guys, if you observe carefully, it is more than 60 minutes. See here. So let us take they are coinciding for the first time at 12 o'clock. Now if you observe here, what will happen after exactly 60 minutes? Minute hand is going to come back to the same position. That means follow the red color. Minute hand will be exactly on the same point. But in that 1 hour, our hand will move to number 1. That means there is no possibility of a coincidence. If the minute hand want to coincide with the hour hand, it has to move 5 more minutes approx. So let's find out what is the exact time they are going to coincide, or after how much time they are going to coincide. Now, I know that for every 60-minute movement of a minute hand, it is going to cover only 55 minutes of our hand. Now think, in our point of view, we are thinking that they are going to coincide after 60 minutes. But guys, that's a wrong time. So I'm writing below the wrong time. But in the original case, what will happen? Let's find out. See, 60 minutes original equal to our hands 55. Now, in our imagination, the coincidence time should be 60 minutes. Let's find out what is the actual time. Just simply cross multiply. Okay, 12 times 11 times. Okay, 720 by 11. 6 11s 66, 60, 5 11s 55, 5 by 11. So we are thinking that they are going to coincide after every 60 minutes, but they are going to coincide after approximately 65 minutes. Okay, because think again. Let us take we are on 1 5. That means both the hands are 1. What will happen after 1 hour? This will come back to the same position. Like minute hand will come back to the same position, but our hand will be moved on to 2. So if it want to coincide, it has to cover 5 more minutes. That's why we are getting 65 5 by 11. So remember, whenever you want to convert our hands with respect to the minute hand or original time, you have to use this line. 60-minute movement of minute hand is only 55 minutes with respect to our hand. Okay, let's go. Now, how you are going to use this in our problem? See guys, while solving, always remember you have to solve it exactly with respect to original minute hand, but not the wrong hour hand. So for that, what you need to do is simply follow the 3 steps. First one, draw an imaginary clock. Okay, draw an imaginary clock. Okay, without taking the effect of minute hand. Okay, without taking effect of minute hand. That means that let us take I want to find out when they are going to form 180. Simply write like this. Don't take the effect of minute hand. Taking effect of minute hand in the sense, don't think that this is going to come down. Okay, simply take the hour hand on 3. So whatever may be the time in between 3 and 4, always take hour hand exactly on 3. Whatever the time between 4 and 5 o'clock, always take hour hand on the digit 4. Okay, don't take above and below. Generally what will happen in the original clock is the hour hand is going to be slightly below the number 3. But what I am saying is don't take like this. Take an imaginary clock without taking the effect of minute hand. Okay, that's the first step. Then second step is write like this. Then the second step is write this line. For every 60-minute movement of minute hand, it is going to cover only 55 minutes with respect to our hand. Third one is simply cross multiply. You will get your answer. I will explain properly. See here. Now guys, what we want to do? We want to find out at what time between 3 o'clock and 4 o'clock the hands of a clock are going to be exactly opposite to each other. That is 180 degrees. Now, first step, draw an imaginary line by forming this angle. See, we are in between 3 o'clock and 4 o'clock. So, take the hour hand on 3. Now, how much angle we need to form? 180. So, from here, find out where you are getting 180 degrees. You are going to get on 9. Guys, remember, this is the wrong time, but assume just it's an imaginary clock. So, that means the answer should be 3:45 in our imaginary clock. Now, second step is write like this line. For every 60-minute movement of minute hand, it is going to cover only 55 minutes with respect to our hand. Now, if it is the wrong time, write below 55. If it is the correct time, write below 60. Now, actually 45 is the wrong time. So, write below 55. So, 45 minutes, okay, in the wrong clock is equal to how many minutes in the original clock? Simply do the cross multiplication. 45 into 60 by 55. 12 times. This is 11 times. So 450 plus 90, 540 by 11, which is equal to, so 4 11s 44. Okay, you are going to get 100. 9 11s 99, 1 by 11. So actually we thought the time is 3:45, but actual time is 3:49, 1 by 11. This is going to be your final answer. I will repeat once again, then I will show you the clock. Okay. First of all, what you need to do is you have to draw an imaginary clock without taking the effect of minute hand. Without taking the effect of minute hand in the sense, don't take below 3, simply exactly take on 3. If it is in between 5 and 6 o'clock, simply take exactly on 5 like that. So, I want time in between 3 and 4 o'clock. So, I am taking exactly on 3. But I want to form an angle of 180. So, from here I am calculating angle of 180. I am getting on 9. So, then write this statement. 60 minutes original equal to 55 minutes wrong. Now, in our case, it is 45 minutes wrong value. So, 45 minutes wrong value is equal to how many minutes in the original clock? Simply do the cross multiplication. You will get your answer. So, wrong clock, 60, 55, cross multiply. Only 3 steps. Okay. I will give one more example. Before giving an example, I would like to show you the clock, like the image of the clock of a 3:49. So you will get better idea whether it is 180 degrees or not. Let us see. So if you observe, this is 3:49 clock. If you observe here, the angle is exactly 180 degrees. So 180 degrees is going to be formed at 3:49, but not at 3:45. Okay, that's what we have done now. So I will give you one more example here. See here. Now I want to find out at what time between 5 and 6 o'clock I'm going to get an angle of 90. That means at exactly what time I will get that 90 degrees angle. So you will get two cases approximately at see here, one is 5:10 and second one is 5:40. Okay, so I'm going to take the second case. Guys, in your options you may have only one option, so whichever option you are having, choose that one. If it is below 5:30, go for 5:10 calculation. If it is above 5:30, go for 5:40 calculation. I want to go for 5:40 calculation. Okay, so what is our first step? We are going to draw an imaginary clock that is indicating 90 degrees difference. So we are going to take our hand on 5. Okay, from here we are going to calculate 90 degrees. So 5 to 6:30, 6 to 7:30, 7 to 8:30. So in our imagination, 90 degrees difference should be like this. Guys, remember, you may get 92 times. One at 5:10 and second one is 5:40. Okay, but based on the options, you have to solve the solution. If your options are below 5:30, go with 5:10 option. If your options are above 5:30, go with 5:40 option. Okay, now see. So we have drawn the imaginary clock indicating 90 degrees difference. What is the second step? You have to draw like this. 60 minutes in the original clock is equal to 55 minutes in the wrong clock. What is the time here? It is 5:40. So 40 minutes in the wrong clock is equal to how much in the original clock? Simply cross multiply. 40 into 60 by 55. So 12, 11. 480 by 11. 4 11s 44. 40, 3 11s 33. 7 by 11. So we thought it is actually 5:40, but the original time is 5:43. Let us check the clock of 5:43. Okay. This is our 5:43 clock. As you can see, there is 90 degrees angle between the hands. So I will repeat the steps once again. First of all, what you need to do here is you have to draw an imaginary line forming this angle. So we want to find out when they are going to make 90 degrees in between 5 and 6 o'clock. So if you want to form in between 5 and 6 o'clock, take our hand exactly on 5, then form the required angle 90. So in the diagram, you are going to get 5:40. That is the first step. Second one, write this line. Every 60 minutes in the original time is equal to 55 minutes in the wrong time. So we want to find out original time corresponding to 40 the wrong time. Simply do the cross multiplication, you will get your answer. Okay. Now we are entering into third model. That means how many times in a day or in 12 hours the hands of a clock are going to coincide or opposite to each other, those kind of problems. See guys, the questions are going to be like this. How many times in 12 hours the hands of a clock are going to coincide? That's what we need to find out here. Coincidence in the sense like this. Like this. So generally what people will do is they will think like this: 12 o'clock, 1, 5, 2, 10, 3, 15. They will count these and they will say 12 times, which is the wrong answer. So why? Because actually you are going to get only 11 times. The difference you can see exactly in between 11 o'clock and 1 o'clock. Think like this. So let us take the time is 11 o'clock. So let us take the time is equal to 11 o'clock. Now let us see what is actually happening here. The minute hand is going to start moving like this. Then our hand will also start moving like this. They are going to coincide for the first time exactly at 12 o'clock. Now what will happen later on? The minute hand will start moving like this and our hand will also start moving like this. By the time minute hand come back to 12, okay, our hand will be on 1. If you observe there, in between 11 o'clock and 1 o'clock, you are going to have 2 hours gap, but they are going to coincide only exactly on 12 only once. See, if you are getting 12 times means they have to coincide one time for every 1 hour. But if you observe here, in between 11 o'clock and 1 o'clock, there is a gap of 2 hours, but they are coinciding only once. That means you are going to get only 11 times for every 12 hours. Okay. So if somebody asks you how many times the hands of a clock are going to coincide for every 12 hours means you are going to get only 11 times, because one coincidence is going to miss in between 11 o'clock and 1 o'clock. Okay. Because in between 11 o'clock and 1 o'clock, you are going to get only one coincidence, but not two. That's why you will get only 11 times. Similarly, if somebody asks you how many times you are going to get 90. See guys, generally they will think that in 1 hour they will think they are going to get 290s. Like for example, like 3 o'clock example, 3 o'clock once, again 3:30 once approx. Similarly, 4:05 once, 4:35 once. They will think that they are getting 92 times for every 1 hour. That's why generally if somebody asks you to find out how many times you are going to get 90, they will say 12 into 2, 24 times. But that's the wrong answer. Why? Because from 2 o'clock to 3 o'clock, you are going to get only one time. Again, from 8 o'clock to 9 o'clock, you are going to get only 190. So because of that, you are going to get only 22 90s for every 12 hours. So I will make it simple for you. If somebody asks you how many times you are going to get 0 degrees, that is coincidence, or 180 exactly opposite, or 360 again coincidence, that is simply 11 times for every 12 hours. But if somebody asks you how many times you are going to get 90, that is going to be 22 times for 12 hours. Be careful while answering these kind of questions. Check whether they are asking for 12 hours or whether they are asking for a day. If it is only for 12 hours, you can say 11 times and 22 times. But if they are asking for a day, 0, 180 is going to be 22 times, but 90 is going to be 44 times in a day. Okay, that's a direct questions. There is nothing confusing here. Simply 0 is going to be 11 times in 12 hours, 90 is going to be 22 times in 12 hours. That's it. Okay, let's move on to the next model. That is wrong clock problems. See guys, we are having a clock here. A faulty clock gains 5 minutes for every 1 hour. That means that if 1 hour time has passed in the original clock, the wrong clock will show 1 hour 5 minutes. That means it is moving fast by 5 minutes for every 1 hour. So 1 hour time in the original clock is equal to 1 hour 5 minutes in the wrong clock. That's the meaning of gaining 5 minutes for every 1 hour. So it is going to gain 5 minutes for every 1 hour. Okay, now the question is like this. The faulty clock and the accurate one set right at 9 a.m. That means, let us take this is the accurate one. In this clock also time is 9 a.m. Let us take this is the faulty one. In this one also time is 9 a.m. Now, we know that faulty one is going to gain 5 minutes for every 1 hour. That means, after 1 hour, the original clock is going to show 10 a.m. but the faulty clock is going to show 10:05 a.m. Next, after 1 more hour, the original clock is going to show 11 a.m. but the faulty one is going to show 11:10 a.m. That means that 60 minutes time in the original clock is equal to 65 minutes in wrong clock. Again, 60 minutes in original clock equal to 65 minutes in wrong clock. That's the meaning of gaining 5 minutes for every 1 hour. Now, you are setting the clock exactly right at 9 a.m. Now, what he is asking? If the faulty clock, you need to find out time in faulty clock when the accurate clock shows 7 p.m. That means this clock is showing 7 p.m. You need to find out time in the faulty clock. See guys, in this model, there are two cases. First one is losing one, second one is gaining one. So one is gaining one and second one is losing one. Okay. Now, in this gaining also, he may give you accurate time and he will ask you to find out faulty time. Or he may give you faulty time and ask you to find out accurate time. So two models. Okay. In this case, what we are doing is we know the accurate time and we are going to find out faulty time. Okay. See here. We are setting the clock at 9 a.m. and the time is 7 p.m. in the original clock and we are setting the wrong clock also at 9 a.m. We need to find out time in the wrong clock. First step is you need to find out how much difference is going to be there. We know that for every 1 hour the wrong clock is going to show 5 minutes extra. So find out how many hours are there in between 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. 7 p.m. I'm taking it as 19, like 24 hours time. Okay, so from 9 a.m. to 19 you are having 10 hours gap. So for every 1 hour, it is going to show 5 minutes extra. In 10 hours, it is going to show 50 minutes extra. That means that the wrong time should be 7:50. I will just repeat it once again. See guys, we know that if the correct time and wrong time exactly set at 9 a.m., after 1 hour, the correct time should be 10 and wrong time is going to be 10:05. That means 60 minutes time in the, I'm going to repeat one more time. Let us take, we're setting the original one as well as faulty one at 9 a.m. exactly. After 1 hour, original one is showing 10 a.m. but faulty one is showing 10:05. That means it is going to gain 5 minutes for every 1 hour. Now, if you see here, the original one is showing 7 p.m. That means there is a time gap of 10 hours. For every 1 hour, it is going to gain 5 minutes. So in 10 hours, it should have gained 50 minutes. And if you observe here, the wrong time is always more than the original time. So simply add this 50 minutes to the original time, you are going to get the wrong time. Okay, now I will give one more example. Let us remove this gaining as losing. That means that if you set both of them at 9 a.m., after 1 hour, original one is going to show 10 a.m., but the faulty one is going to show 9:55. After 1 more hour, it is going to show 11, and this is going to show 10:50. That means that 60 minutes in the original clock is equal to 55 minutes in the wrong clock. That's the meaning of losing 5 minutes for every 1 hour. Now, the original one is showing 7 p.m. You need to find out faulty one time. So for every 1 hour, it is going to lose 5 minutes. So there is 10 hours gap in between 9 a.m. and 7 p.m. So in this 10 hours, it is going to lose 55 minutes. So if you observe here, wrong time is less than the original time. Wrong time is less than the original time. That means subtract 55 minutes from the original time, you will get your wrong time. So answer should be 6:05 p.m. That's it. So remember guys, I will just give you the steps. First of all, the first step is find out how much time gap is there. Okay, multiply the time gap with losing or gaining time. Okay, this is the second step. And the third step is, if it is gaining, okay, add the time to the original one, you will get your answer. If it is losing, subtract the time from the original one, you will get your answer. Okay, this process can be applied when you know the accurate time and you want to find out the wrong time or faulty time. Okay, but if you know the wrong time and if you want to find out accurate one, that's what we are going to do in the next problem. See here, in this case, the same, you are gaining 5 minutes for every 1 hour. Both of them set right at 9 a.m. and the accurate clock, you need to find out time in the accurate clock when the faulty clock shows 7:50, like this. You are setting both at 9 a.m. After 1 hour, original one show 10. After 1 more hour, 11. After 1 more hour, 12. Like that, the original one is going to pass the time. But in the wrong one, you are setting at 9 a.m. After 60 minutes, that is after 1 hour, it is going to gain 5 minutes. That means it is going to gain 5 minutes, means it is going to move by 65 minutes. So it's going to show 10:05, then 11:10, and the process is going to continue like this. Now he is saying that in the wrong clock, time is 7:50 and you need to find out time in the original one. So for this one, what you need to do is you have to compare the dials. Compare the dials means compare the accurate clock and the wrong clock. We know that 60 minutes in the accurate clock is equal to 65 minutes in the wrong clock. Like that, find out how many minutes are there in between 9 o'clock and 7:50. We know that this we can write as 19:50. Okay, so 10 hours 50 minutes. So we are having 10 hours 50 minutes gap. I am converting everything into minutes because here I am having in terms of minutes. So 10 hours is 10 into 60, 600 minutes plus 50 minutes. So total in the wrong clock moved by 650 minutes. So how much should be the difference in the original clock? Simply cross multiply 650 into 60 by 65. Okay, you are going to get 600 minutes. Convert this into hours, you are going to get 10 hours. That means if it is 650 minutes in the wrong clock, means there is going to be only 600 minutes in the original clock. So from 9 a.m. to 600 minutes means the answer should be 7 p.m. I will just repeat once again, guys. Listen carefully. First of all, what we are going to do is we are going to write like this: 9 a.m. in the original clock, 9 a.m. in the faulty clock. After 1 hour, it is going to be 10 a.m. in the original clock. After 1 more hour, it is going to be 11 a.m. in the original clock. But the faulty clock is going to gain 5 minutes more. 5 minutes more means it is moving faster by 5 minutes. So this is going to show 10 5, 11 10 like this. That means for every 60 minutes movement in the original clock, the faulty clock is going to move by 65 minutes. Now he is saying that the faulty one is showing 750. You need to find out the original time. So for that you are going to use comparison method. Comparison method means find out how much difference is there between the present time and the time they are setting the watch. So we are comparing accurate clock and the wrong clock. Okay, in the wrong clock, from 9 a.m. to 7:50, you are having 10 hours 50 minutes, which is equal to 650 minutes. That means wrong clock moved by 650 minutes. That's you need to remember here. Now we know that 60 minutes in the accurate clock is equal to 65 minutes in the wrong clock. Now in the wrong clock, we are having 650 minutes. Find out corresponding value in the original clock by doing cross multiplication. So 650 into 60 by 65, you are going to get 600 minutes. That means that by the time wrong clock moves 650 minutes, original one can move only 600 minutes. Convert this into hours, you are going to get 10 hours. That means if the wrong clock is moving 10 hours 50 minutes means in that time original clock can only move 10 hours. So simply add 10 hours from the starting time, you will get your answer as 7 p.m. So those are the 4 different models in our clocks. Even guys, the losing case is similar to this gaining case. The only thing is instead of 65, you are going to take 55. That's it. Okay. So we are done with clocks. If you have any suggestions or queries, let me know in the comments. Thank you. Good day.